I'm out here behind my RV at my solar test station. I've got two 200-watt solar panels hooked up in parallel. I'm going to have that connected to the Goldenmate Orion battery you see in the box behind me. But first, I gotta get it out of the box and show you what all came with it, because this thing's pretty slick looking. Some dirty ham put graffiti on my box. Ziggy! Inside the box with the battery, we get some pretty cool stuff. There are some lugs here for some pretty big wire, so you can make up your own battery terminal cables if you'd like. You've got to supply your own wire. And then there are communications wires to hook these batteries up and start talking between them, which starts to lead you to believe that this battery's got some smarts. This is kind of a unique connector, but it supports RS-485 and CAN, I believe that's CAN bus, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you have some bare wires here if you want to connect this into your own serial device and do your own talking and receiving between these batteries and your computer or whatever. And then you get a decent little multi-fold owner's manual, and inside the owner's manual it talks about how to hook them up in parallel or in series. And then this little blue wire here is the communications wire that I was telling you about. There's the display, which I'm going to show you here in a second. That display is built into the battery. And then there is the cable pinout if you wanted to make your own cable or make your own sockets or make your own whatevers and get this thing hooked up. And even has some parameters down there for how to talk over it. Battery's got some nice handles on it, which is good. And then on the front here are the connector ports where those CAN connectors go, or the RS-485 connector, whatever you want to call it. That is just a breather hole. So now, how do we get this thing to do its magic? We'll find out. Right about here, there's a little thing on the display. Well, let's get this cover taken off. Oh, it doesn't want to come off. Good. I don't like taking those things off anyway. Contractual obligations, my rear end. All right, so let's turn it on. And there is a whole bunch of information that's going to show up here, but right now, it's interesting to note that this thing is 100% charged. So that means we got to discharge it. So what are some uses for a 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery in an RV like this one? My RV is 36 foot long. That's a lot of space to heat and cool and a lot of people to feed and so on. And I live in it full time, so that's a lot of usage out of that battery. You can very easily put it up in a Group 31 battery box on the tongue of your trailer, and having the Bluetooth monitoring makes it fantastic. If you have one of these solar on the side connections and a good solar charge controller, you can connect right up to it and get that battery charged. I am going to have a video coming out on why you don't want to use that port and what some better alternatives are for it. So make sure you're subscribed to see that one when it comes out. On an RV, that battery is used for quite a lot of things you might not even think about. It will raise and lower your stabilizer jacks, raise and lower your tongue, operate your slide, overhead lights, charge all of your devices, your cell phones, your laptops, your smartwatches, etc. And your WFCO panel that most RVs have will be able to recharge this battery. Some of them have a built-in switch inside. Take a look, make sure that you can recharge LiFePO4s. If not, it's a pretty easy replacement job. And these things are really, really solar friendly. So if you've got solar on the roof of your RV, then you've got it made to get this battery recharged. The only things you can't really run on the battery directly are the microwave and the air conditioner, but you can get an inverter in order to run that off of the battery. My RV consumes about 200 watts on average, so this battery will last me a full day or a full night, but not both. That's why I need to have it recharged. Your mileage may vary. I have two 12-volt refrigerators in here because I keep a lot of food, and I always look for discounts at the grocery store to stock up on meat and other wonderful sale items. One of my favorite things to do with lithium iron phosphate batteries is to run my Starlink. I've got a video on how to get your Starlink system converted over to run on 12 volts and connect up to a battery like this, and you can see that up in the corner up there. We've got the Goldenmate Orion 1000 up on the test bench, and that test bench includes this Maker Hawk DC load. And what this thing here does is it consumes electricity out of the battery and turns it into heat with this fan. And then we get to measure all kinds of useful information. So we've got it plugged in. I'm going to reset the number. It was at 97, almost 1 amp yesterday from a different test. I'm going to clear that. So now we're at 0 amp hours down there. I'm going to turn this up to 10. I should go to 11, right? But if I turn this thing up to 10, it's a 100 amp hour battery, so it should take me about 10 hours to get this thing done. There we go, 10 amps. And we'll be back in about 10 hours when we're all done. This is one of the cool features about this battery, is that it's got a bunch of information on the screen for you. So we're pulling 132 watts out of it right now. Awesome. This thing comes with a really cool iPhone app for all you Apple users out there. It has an Android app, but the Android app doesn't work with my phone, so I can't show you. It may or may not work with your phone. I'm pretty sure it won't. I think the app is outdated. But let's take a look at the iPhone app here. It was fairly easy to connect to it, and the display is pretty slick. It gives you some voltage readings, 13.11 volts, and we are consuming 10.1 amps, which is what we set it to on the load side of things. And then the power draw is about 132 amps, about 132 watts, which is what we showed on the screen on the battery itself. And it's telling me that at the current voltage, current, and power draw levels, we're going to last about 9.8 hours. Pretty neat little app. It also gives you temperature ratings down here at the bottom in Celsius and in Fahrenheit. So right now the battery is 64.4 degrees, and it's got a bunch of different temperature sensors in it. So now you can kind of remotely monitor the health of your battery in both temperature and remaining charge, and you don't have to take notes anymore. You don't have to have a shunt. You don't have to have anything fancy, just your phone that you already carry with you. It's pretty slick. I've been watching this one for a while, and I'm actually pretty excited to share this with you. Let's take a look. The Tacti-Cool Smart Battery on the meter here, focus, is looking pretty darn good. I got 114.01 amp hours, 1,325.96 watt hours, and there's still even just a little bit of juice left in this thing. It's only rated at 100 amps, and we got 114 out of it. That's the good stuff. I guess they kept enough in reserve to still light up the display, and it says 11.7, so it cut the output, but not the Bluetooth. So there's still power in that battery that you ain't got access to. It delivered more than you wanted, and still hold some in reserve. That sounds a whole lot like under promise and over deliver, but I'll take it. Be sure to check out the links in the description down below for discounts and more information on where you can get this battery and all of its wonderful specs, in case I missed any in the video. There's a video right over here I think you might enjoy next. I'll see you over there.